All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the Veneto region of Italy.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. And our source material for today is an article from Love to Visit Italy. And it's titled Top 10 Places to Visit in Veneto. And, there are a lot of great places on this list. Should be a fun deep dive.
Yeah, Veneto's definitely a region in Italy that has a lot to offer, a lot of diversity. So it should be interesting to go through this list and see what we find.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. So the article starts off with Venice.
Of course, Venice. You gotta have Venice.
Yeah, and what's a trip to Veneto without Venice?
Right.
So
Hmm.
Venice, iconic city built on canals,
Right.
lots of beautiful architecture,
Right.
gondola rides. It's the quintessential Italian, or I guess Veneto experience.
Yeah, and I think that it's one of those places that's almost everybody's heard of it. Even if you're not, a big traveler, you've probably heard of Venice.
Yeah,
So it's definitely got to be on the list.
Yeah, and I mean it really does live up to the hype.
Yeah.
So the article highlights St. Mark's Basilica as sort of a must see, and I think for good reason.
Mm.
It's absolutely stunning, those mosaics and the dome, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean it's huge.
Yeah, the scale of some of these places in Venice is really impressive. And I think that, St. Mark's Basilica is definitely one of those places that the pictures don't really do
Yeah.
it justice.
Yeah, no, they really don't. Okay, and also I wanted to mention the Peggy Guggenheim collection,
Mm.
which is a museum of modern art
Oh, yeah.
housed in a palazzo on the Grand Canal.
Mm.
It's got some amazing pieces from, like Picasso to Dali.
Really, huh?
Yeah, it's incredible. I actually had a chance to visit it a few years ago. It's really special.
Yeah, that sounds really neat. I mean, I think that Venice has so much to offer. It's hard to even scratch the surface in a short visit.
Yeah,
But it's good to know that, I mean, for art lovers, there's this amazing museum that maybe isn't on everybody's radar.
right,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, it sounds like a real gem
Yeah.
hidden in plain sight.
Yeah, definitely. And then also, of course, the Venice Carnival,
Oh, yeah.
which is a huge, huge event.
Mm-hmm.
World famous for its, elaborate masks and costumes.
Right,
And
right.
just the whole atmosphere is
Yeah.
just incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
Really festive.
Yeah, it sounds like a really unique cultural experience that, even if you weren't going to Italy specifically for that, if you happened to be there during that time, it's something that you should check out.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so moving on from Venice, number 2 on the list is Verona.
Verona.
Yeah, Verona. So, Verona is known for being the setting of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's just a beautiful city, very romantic.
Very romantic.
So the article highlights the Arena di Verona, which is a Roman amphitheater,
Oh, wow.
incredibly well preserved, and they still hold concerts and operas there today.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Imagine seeing an opera under the stars in a Roman amphitheater.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be,
That would be amazing.
yeah, pretty special.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, Juliet's house is there, which is kind of a pilgrimage site for love-struck tourists.
Got to see the balcony.
Yeah, exactly. But even beyond that, Verona's just a beautiful city to walk around. It's got these charming, like, cobbled streets and medieval buildings.
Mhm.
There are lots of, like, nice little shops,
Yeah.
cafes and restaurants.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's a really charming place. I've been there a couple of times, and it's one of my favorite cities in Italy, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm adding that one to the list.
Yeah, you should, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so then next up we have Padua.
Padua.
Yeah. So Padua is a vibrant university city. It's got a very youthful energy because of that.
Okay.
And, it's also a city with a lot of history.
Right.
It's home to one of the oldest botanical gardens in the world.
Oh, wow. In the world.
Yeah, in the world.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So I think that would be really cool to see. And it also has one of the largest squares in Europe, which is called Prato della Vaia,
Okay.
surrounded by statues and canals. Really beautiful place.
So is that kind of the main gathering place in Padua? Or like the heart of the city?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I haven't been to Padua, but
Right.
from the pictures I've seen and, what I've read about it, yeah, that seems to be sort of the main
Right.
hub of activity.
Cool.
And then also Padua is home to the Scrovegni Chapel, which has these groundbreaking frescoes by Giotto.
Oh, I've heard of those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're very famous.
Yeah. Very influential, right?
Yeah. So definitely worth checking out if you're an art lover.
Okay, well that one sounds really interesting. I mean, I'm fascinated by religious art in general, and I think that the history behind it and the way that it reflects the culture and the time period that it was created in, it's just really fascinating to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so next up we have Treviso.
Treviso, that one's new to me.
Yeah, Treviso is it's described as a hidden gem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's often overlooked
Mm-hmm.
by tourists, but I think that's part of its charm.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the appeal of some of these hidden gems.
Right.
You get away from the crowds, you get
Right.
more of an authentic experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool, cool.
So Treviso has picturesque canals and some medieval architecture.
Okay.
And it's known for its radicchio, which is,
Halikikyo.
yeah, it's a type of chicory.
Okay.
And it's a little bit bitter, but it's
Oh,
very popular in the region.
so it's kind of a local specialty.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
And it has a beautiful historic center with, piazzas and markets and just a really nice place to walk around.
Sounds charming.
Yeah. So if you're looking for that, authentic Italian experience without the crowds, Treviso might be a good option.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Okay, so from charming towns to awe-inspiring landscapes, number 5 on the list is the Dolomites.
The Dolomites. Oh, I've heard of these. Beautiful mountains.
They're stunning. Um, they're actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Wow.
And they're just, I mean, you just have to see pictures of them to really appreciate them. They're just incredible.
Yeah, yeah. And what is it that makes them so special? I mean, I know that they're beautiful mountains, but is there something particularly unique about them?
Well, I think it's, the shape of the peaks. They're very jagged and dramatic.
Oh, okay.
And the way the light hits them, it creates these incredible colors.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also, they're home to some really charming towns like Cortina d'Ampezzo,
Okay.
which is a popular ski resort town.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, whether you're into hiking or skiing or just, taking in the views, the Dolomites are definitely worth a visit.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So then moving on to number 6, we have Lake Garda.
Lake Gard.
Yeah. So Lake Garda is Italy's largest lake.
Oh, wow.
And it's really beautiful. It's got these crystal clear waters. It's surrounded by mountains.
Mm.
And, this is a really great place to relax and enjoy the scenery.
Okay. So kind of a different vibe than Venice or Verona.
Yeah, for sure. More of a
Yeah.
laid back, lake life kind of vibe.
Okay. Okay.
And it's also a good place for, water sports and things like that, if
Yeah.
you're into that.
Yeah.
The article highlights a couple of towns on Lake Garda, like Sirmione and Riva del Garda.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're both really charming towns with, beautiful views of the lake.
Okay.
And Sirmione has this Scaliger Castle, which is, this medieval castle that juts out into the lake.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can get some great views from there, I bet.
Yeah. I haven't been there personally, but
Right.
the pictures look amazing.
Yeah, that sounds really nice. I mean, I like that this list kind of has a mix of, the cities and then the natural landscapes as well.
Yeah, it's a good mix.
Okay.
That's cool. All right, so next up we have number 7 on the list is Villa di Miser.
Villa di Miser.
Yeah, also known as Villa Barbaro.
Okay.
It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's a beautiful example of Palladian architecture.
Okay.
It's got these stunning frescoes by Paolo Veronese
Oh, wow.
and expansive gardens that are just really beautiful. They're designed to sort of, blend in with the surrounding landscape.
So it's kind of like integrated into the natural environment.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Cool. Cool.
So it's a bit off the beaten path,
Mhm.
but definitely worth a visit if you're interested in architecture or art.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds right up my alley.
Okay, so then next up we have the Prosecco Hills.
Okay. That's one I'm familiar with.
Yeah, for sure. So the Prosecco Hills are UNESCO World Heritage Site as well.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they're home to some of the best Prosecco in the world.
Of course.
So a must visit for any wine lover.
Absolutely.
They offer guided wine tours and tastings.
Mhm.
And, there are some charming towns in the area as well, like
Mhm.
Conegliano and
Mhm.
And, you can just, drive around and take in the scenery. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. So you can kind of combine the cultural experience of the wine and the food with the scenic beauty of the landscape.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That sounds nice.
So, yeah, the Prosecco Hills are a definite must-see.
Okay.
Okay, so then moving on to number 9, we have Vicenza.
Vicenza.
Yeah, so Vicenza is it's another city that's known for its architecture, particularly the works of Andrea Palladio.
Okay.
So Palladio was a very influential Renaissance architect,
Hmm.
and he designed many of the buildings of Vicenza. So one of the highlights is the Teatro Olimpico, which is the oldest surviving indoor theater in the world.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's got this like incredible stage set
Mm-hmm.
that's meant to look like an ancient Roman street scene.
Okay, right.
And it's just a really impressive piece of architecture.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a historical landmark, but it's also still a functioning theater.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
They still hold performances there today.
That's cool.
Yeah. And Vicenza also has the Basilica Palladiana, which is another iconic building designed by Palladio.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's got this really distinctive facade
Yeah, yeah.
with these like arches and columns.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really beautiful building.
So it's a city where you can really immerse yourself in Palladio's work.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so then last but not least, we have Sauve.
So.
So Sauve is a medieval town
Okay.
that's known for its wine.
Okay. Gotcha.
And it has this really impressive castle that sits on top of a hill.
Oh.
And the views from the castle are supposed to be amazing. You can see, the vineyards and the surrounding countryside.
So it's kind of like a classic, Italian like hill town
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
with the castle overlooking everything.
Yeah, it's very picturesque.
Cool.
And, of course, you can do wine tastings in the area.
Right.
There are some great wineries in Soave, so it's a good place to, spend a day or two just, enjoying the scenery and the wine.
Yeah, that sounds nice. I mean, I think that, we've talked about a lot of different places in Veneto, but it seems like there's really something for everyone.
Yeah, yeah, there really is. So it's a great destination for, anyone who's interested in Italian culture, history, food, wine.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very well-rounded region.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's cool. It's good to know.
So, yeah, that's the top 10 list.
Okay.
There are obviously many other places to visit in Veneto, but I think this is a good, starting point for anyone who's planning a trip to the region.
Yeah, for sure. Gives you a good overview of the variety of things that you can see and do there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Okay, so I think we've covered the basics of each place. I think now we can maybe delve a little deeper into some of these places and, talk about, maybe some more specific things to see and do.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's dive a little deeper.
Okay, great.
All right, so where do we want to start?
Well, how about we start with...
I mean, we just talked about Venice, so maybe we could
Yeah, we could talk about that.
talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, for sure.
good.
So, we mentioned St. Mark's Basilica and the Piggy Guggenheim collection,
Mm-hmm.
but there's so much more to see in Venice. So I guess maybe we could talk about, some of the other maybe less well-known sites in Venice.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting because, I mean, Venice is such a popular tourist destination that it's easy to get caught up in the main attractions and miss out on some of the hidden gems.
Right.
So yeah, let's explore some of those.
Okay, so one place that I think is really cool is the Doge's Palace.
Oh, the Doge's Palace.
Yeah, so the Doge's Palace was the seat of power for the Venetian Republic for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And it's just an incredible building.
Okay. And what makes it so special? I mean, is it the architecture or is there more to it than that?
Well, I think it's a combination of things.
Okay.
The architecture is stunning.
Yeah.
It's this like really beautiful example of Venetian Gothic architecture.
Okay.
But it's also, just the history of the place.
Right.
It's where, all the important decisions were made
Mm-hmm.
for the Venetian Republic.
So it's kind of like a window into the history of Venice.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
And there are some really beautiful rooms inside.
Yeah.
Like the Hall of the Great Council, which is this like